Kyrie Jesu Domine, dona eis requiem. Kyrie Jesu Domine.
Good afternoon, everybody, and that's when we're recording this little ditty on Tuesday of the third week of Easter, the Martyrdom of St. Stephen in the first reading. And Jesus continues the bread of life discourse in the gospel. But let's talk about Stephen, because that is following in the footsteps of Christ, of praying for your enemies, which is what every Christian should do in the long run. Doesn't mean you don't call out your enemies. Doesn't mean you don't address things that you consider immoral or affront to God, to Christ. Because that's why Stephen's being martyred. He's not being stoned because he's a nice guy. He's being stoned because he called the people he's talking to stiff-necked and uncircumcised of ear and heart, meaning they refuse to listen and their hearts are hardened. The two biggest condemnations that God gives in the Old Testament is a stiff neck, you can't budge, and a hardened heart, which is dead and lifeless. So if you poke around on my YouTube page, you'll find a fair amount of political and cultural things where I have a lot of harsh things to say about the political left and my disdain for them. Just that I can like liberals and have a conversation with them. The more you tilt towards the left ideologically, the less likely we are to be able to have a conversation. And I fear even a friendship, which is really a shame. That's how you can always tell a lefty. They will resort to calling you a racist or some sort of hater or phobe without even having grounds for that. But those are still people I pray for. And really, as Christians, I don't want to have any enemies. I am opposed to ideas and behaviors that are repugnant to God and to the gospel. I am not opposed to people. And I think that's, where we have to really reflect on that. Andrew Clavin on today's podcast on Daily Wire is a great reflection on that. And, he's a conservative, but he offers a fair critique of both the left and the right. And I would put him in the same boat as Scott Adams, who is liberal, but offers a good critique of the left and the right. And there's a lot of other people I listen to, far more on the conservative side than on the liberal side when we talk about politics and culture, both of which concern me. But they're not the end all. The end all is Jesus Christ. The end all is preparing for eternal life. And as a shepherd, it is my job to try to help other people prepare for eternal life. That I do believe God is paying attention to our lives lovingly. That God hopes we respond to His grace with gratitude. That God is hoping and blessing us so that we can grow into the son or daughter that He created us to be. Not through compulsion, but through desire. We really have to understand that. And all the people in our lives who've screwed up authority for us, we need to forgive. Maybe do Stephen's prayer for them. Parents, maybe a spouse, maybe grandparents. But few things mess us up more than authority. And we have to come to terms with that with God. God is the ultimate authority, and then other authorities in our life. And forgive people who've exercised authority poorly, horribly, unjustly, and often on a personal level. I'm not talking about on a political level. Our biggest wounds we bear and burdens are often familial or friendship. Those are the two biggies. It's either a family member or a friend who has wounded you and injured you. Government can do terrible things. They can end lives. They can imprison you. But most of us, especially living in the United States, we don't face that reality. We need to pray for the people that we are otherwise opposed to in cultural activities or political activities. And always be willing to pray for their conversion and us meeting in the middle. Even if they don't come completely over to my point of view, If they get close to it, I should be thankful for that. After all, Stephen prayed for Paul, who's currently called Saul. And down the road, what do we see? The conversion of Saul. He has to get flattened by Jesus, which will do it for anybody. But Stephen prays for all those people participating in his death. And that's the way the disciple imitates the master. So anyway, we'll say goodbye. This is Elvis Presley, always on my mind. Well, there you go. God bless you all. And just remember, if you ever look at any of my political or cultural things and you see the warning siren and you're offended easily, do yourself a favor and don't watch it. Because I love you, and I don't need to know your hateful political views, and you don't need to know what you probably consider I don't think they're hateful, but some people probably do. God bless you all. Bye.